Your job title might be obsolete in 2 years. Not because you're not good enough, but because the role itself is disappearing. Finance is being rebuilt from the ground up right now. And the professionals who see it coming are already quietly positioning themselves for jobs that didn't even exist 5 years ago. So in this video, I want to break down exactly which new roles are emerging in finance heading into 2026. I'll cover what's driving this shift, what skills employers are actually hiring for, and most importantly, what you can do today to stay ahead of it. Let's get into it. But before we do, quick favor. If career strategy and finance insights are your thing, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. I put out new videos every week, and you genuinely don't want to miss what's coming next on this channel. Alright, so why is all of this happening now? Why are so many new roles suddenly emerging in finance at the same time? It comes down to 3 forces that are hitting the industry simultaneously, and together, they're creating a perfect storm. The first force is technology. Automation, AI, and data analytics are changing what finance teams actually do on a day-to-day basis. Tasks that used to eat up hours, reconciliations, variance checks, basic reporting, can now be done in seconds. Which sounds great, right? But here's the thing, that just raises the bar. Because now the question isn't, can you run the numbers? The question is, what do you do with them? Leaders don't just want the data anymore. They want someone who can look at that data, understand what it means, and tell a clear story about what the business should do next. The second force is regulation. Global standards are evolving fast. ESG disclosures, sustainability reporting, data privacy frameworks, and these aren't going away. They're getting stricter. Companies genuinely need finance experts who can translate these complex frameworks into real business impact. And right now, most teams are scrambling to find people who can actually do that. And the third force, and this one tends to surprise people, is changing expectations. Finance is no longer the back office. CEOs, boards, and investors now expect finance teams to be strategic partners. They want finance at the table, guiding decisions, forecasting risk, driving growth, not just cleaning up the numbers after the fact. Put those 3 forces together, and you get a massive opening. A new category of finance professional is emerging, one who sits right at the intersection of finance, data, and technology. And that's exactly where the new roles are being built. So let's look at what those roles actually are. Here are 5 roles that are already starting to appear on job boards, and they will become mainstream very quickly. The first one is the finance data analyst. This role bridges the gap between traditional finance and data science. Finance data analysts build financial models, analyze trends, and use tools like SQL, Python, and Power BI to turn raw data into strategic insight. But here's what makes them different from a regular financial analyst. They're not just reporting on what happened, they're predicting what comes next. Think of them as the finance team's forward-looking radar. And as more companies move toward data-driven decision-making, this is one of the fastest-growing finance roles out there right now. The second role is the ESG and Sustainability Finance Manager. A few years ago, ESG was basically a PR checkbox. Now, it's a legal requirement in many markets. These managers link environmental and social data directly to financial performance, carbon accounting, impact analysis, sustainability reporting frameworks. It's finance meets ethics, and companies everywhere are scrambling to hire for it. If you're someone who cares about where the world is heading and you have a finance background, this is a serious opportunity. The third is the AI and automation specialist in finance. Every finance team is adopting tools like Copilot, ChatGPT, and process automation platforms right now. But here's the problem. Most of them have no idea how to actually implement these tools well. That's where this specialist comes in. They design smarter workflows, reduce manual errors, and help the whole team work faster and more accurately. This is arguably the role with the most momentum on this list right now. This is because the demand is everywhere and the supply of people who can do it well is still very limited. Fourth is the fintech integration analyst. Finance and technology continue to blur together with payments, APIs, blockchain, and embedded finance. Companies need someone who can evaluate and integrate these platforms and make sure everything works seamlessly. Part finance, part product, part technology. It's a genuinely new hybrid that barely existed 5 years ago. It's going to be a standard role in financial services within the next few years. And fifth, and this one surprises people every time, the financial storytelling lead. Yes, this is a real job. As data gets more complex, organizations need someone who can translate models, dashboards, and forecasts. They must turn them into clear, compelling narratives that non-finance executives can actually understand and act on. The analyst crunches the numbers. This person makes them land. And in a world drowning in data, that skill is becoming incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. Now, knowing these roles exist is one thing. Being ready for them is a completely different challenge. So let's talk about what you can actually do. There are 4 things that will genuinely set you apart as these roles become mainstream. The first is to build hybrid skills. The professionals landing these jobs aren't purely finance people, and they're not purely tech people. They're both. If your strength is accounting and financial modeling, start layering in analytics tools, Power BI, Python, or AI workflow tools like Copilot for Excel. If you come from a data or tech background, go deeper into valuation, forecasting, and how businesses actually use financial information to make decisions. The overlap between those two worlds, that's where the real opportunity is. That's where almost nobody lives yet. The second is to stay in permanent learning mode. Finance is moving too fast for a static skill set. The professionals who win over the next 5 years aren't going to be the ones with the most experience. They're going to be the ones who can adapt the fastest. Online courses, short certifications, real projects, all of it counts. What matters isn't how much you already know. It's how quickly you can learn what comes next. The third, and this is the one most people skip, is to build proof, not just credentials. Don't just list Power BI or Python on your resume. Build something. Create a financial dashboard or automate a report. Analyze real ESG data from a public company and write up what you found. Concrete work beats credentials every single time, especially when you're pivoting into something new. It shows you can apply it, not just that you learned it. And fourth, don't underestimate what I call the human edge. Technical skills will get you noticed. But communication, judgment, and the ability to influence people will get you hired and promoted. In a world where automation handles more and more of the analysis, you need the ability to tell a clear story. Navigating complexity and bringing people along with you is your single biggest competitive advantage. Machines are getting better at the numbers every year. They're not getting better at people. So where does that leave us? Here's the bottom line. The finance jobs of 2026 are not just updated versions of old roles. They're genuinely new roles that blend finance, technology, and strategy in ways the industry has never seen before. And the gap between "I know this is coming" and "I'm actually ready for it," that's exactly where careers are made or missed. The professionals who will lead this next wave are the ones preparing right now, not in 2 years when everyone catches on. Now, if you want a real head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst. The link is in the description. It's built specifically for mastering the finance, data, and AI skills that these new roles require. And before you go, drop a comment below and tell me, which of these 5 roles surprised you most? I read every single reply, and I'm curious where people are focusing their energy right now. If this video was useful, hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps more people find this content. And I'll see you in the next one.